The Honourable Te Rā Flavel, Tēnā koe.
Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker, kia ora tātou katoa. E wama, te hunga ko tai mai, ai tēnei ahi ka tautoko ake, o tēnei ata, tai wā, ko ata tonu. Ka mihi rea ki o koutou I tai mai, e whai haere nei, I ngā ruahine I tēnei ata haere mai, tēnā koutou, kia ora tātou katoa. Kia ora tātou, nā runga te āhuatanga o te noho tahi, ka tai ai au te ki, te maunga tito hea, era rau ki roto I te ware pāre mata. Ko te mate ke o tēnei Māori, ka kite he tangata, ka hoki ngā mahara. He kite ngā kanohi, ka hoki ngā mahara. Koene te mate o tēnei Māori. I tēnei ata, e pērā no te āhuatanga. Kia rātau, kāre kunei tēnei rangi. Engari, ko te hunga, ko rātau te hunga I hoi te waka nei ki tōna taumata. Kōrero he ake nei, ko te āhuatanga kia wiki, ka tangi ake. No nā tata nei au, kōrero ai ki wāna tamariki ki te āhuatanga, o te marae, e wawatatia nei, kia tū, ki ngā motu, ka tangi ake, he oaha ki, mōna, o tira, o te hongo kua ngaro. Kei te gite atu ētahi, ka hoki ngā mahara kia Uncle Lindsay, kia Mākere, kia Uncle Tommy, ki te whai o te mema pārema te noho nei. Mahara, te āhuatanga ki tō whaia. E tikana te koroa a te mema o te tai hau auru. He hara no naia nei e nei tohe. Kao, noa tua whakarere. Waira ka tangi ake. Me te whakaro ake mō. Te kauhoi. Mr. Speaker, today is a bit of a hard day because I know these people. And I'm a hopeless tangiweto. But there's a huge contradiction for me being here today, actually, because it was about 30 years ago on one Tuesday night from memory that some of these people, those proactive initiators I talked about earlier, they went to a marae just out of, up at Otaraua, which is just out of Waitara. Well, yeah, just out of Waitara. And some of these people, Mr. Speaker, were plotting, they were strategizing to go down to a hui that was at the marae of the Honourable Mahara Okeroa, Owai Marae, at Waitara. The marae was, not even they can remember, up the top, but we had a hikoi organised. It was a big hikoi, Mr. Speaker. We got together, we had some planning, we talked about the damn Crown coming to Taranaki to talk about the settlement of treaty claims. It was most of these people, I sort of was on the periphery, as you know. And I watched these people plot, Mr. Speaker, and they said, we're going to go at a different angle. We're not going to go down with necessarily placards. What we're going to do is we're going to get some blankets and wrap, it wasn't my idea or anything to do with me, it was those fellas up there, wrap blankets around themselves, and we'll go down at 6 o'clock in the morning. So we woke up, they woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and they said, Tiriro, let's go. And I said, okay, fair enough. So we went out of the marae, we walked all the way down to the main road. We turned right, we walked down to Waitara Township. Some of those people up there had microphones. They were yelling and screaming obscenities. No, they weren't. They were very kind. We were singing waiata. And we got up to Owai Marae, Mr. Speaker, and the occasion was the arrival of Mr. Sir Witta Gardner and Sir Doug Graham to present the fiscal envelope. And I was at the back of the line, way back. And some of these people marched onto the marae. And you know, Mr. Speaker, they were against what we're doing today. So was I. We were absolutely against settling claims on the basis that it was so unfair. How can you talk about settlement when you're only talking about 1 to 2% of the real value of these claims? So we marched up, we went onto the marae, and a couple of things I remember from that. The first one was that we sat down, and we had our blankets and the sun on the marae, and Taranaki presented its case to Sir Witta who was facilitating, and Sir Douglas Graham. It was a sad day, it was an emotional day. And the two events I remember was that, and it's even written about in Sir Witta's book, he said that that was probably the most, not inspirational, the one event that affected him so much, because when he came out of the marae, these people, a couple of hundred of them, sitting on the ground with those blankets wrapped around their waists, absolutely quiet. And you'd think that against, as I said earlier, against Raupatu, that you'd be pretty angry. These people, we sat quiet, no one moved. And when they came out for kai, everybody said, come on and have a kai. No one moved. So that was our anger about the fiscal envelope. And so I say to all of my in-laws that today, you jumped the fence and I jumped the fence. We all came over to accept that at the end of the day, you do what you got to do. You do what you got to do, and I can't get in the road of what we want. So ko tāku I tēnei rā he tautoko I ngā kōrero. Mo te āhuatanga o te hurai e whaiwhai haere tēnei e koutou. So there's the first part. There's a bit of a contradiction, but I'll get over it. The second part, sir, is I want to talk about, as I did this morning, about a person that I did meet, but he set the scene, I reckon, for Taranaki about how things would play out. And his name was Ayla Taylor. Now, Ayla Taylor, I reckon, I met him, fairly humble man, but he, pretty much on his own, set the scene for saying, allowing people to put sewage and rubbish and offload into the river and into the waterways and into the sea to upset the tide, to allow people to get kai, is wrong. And what he did was he went into bat for that and put up a claim around that. So I think about Ayla Taylor today, because he was a simple Waitara worker from the meat works, but he hated and led a campaign for 34 years to stop discharge being washed into the Waitara Marine area. His claim as Y6 was filed on the 4th of June 1981 on behalf of Te Atiawa. And so here we are today talking about the settlement of some of these issues, but for me, you cannot go past a name called Ayla Taylor in the history of Te Atiawa, and indeed treaty claims and settlements as a landmark case, and it went on to be the Motunui issue. The other issues with respect to Waitara, Mr. Speaker, other speakers have spoken about that. So I'm not going to go into that, but I can say that I take up the offer from the minister, from the member Nanaia Mahuta, that some of these things we've got to work together on, and you know we're always open for that. And the last part I just wanted to make in the short space of time is, you know, sometimes, Mr. Speaker, some of these issues are so bound in racism that we got to get over. That's the hard part that people talked about, Māori getting over feeling angry about our history. But actually, some people talk about history as way back, but actually it's all around us right now. If I said that a person pretty close to me made a stand with respect to some street signs in Waitara. There was a development just recently where one of those developers up there said, oh, I want to name this development 2 streets. One called Drever Street, I think, and the other one Marshall Street. And there we said, hey, how about, because of the history, how about Māori street names? Hello, there's an uproar. You Māoris are asking for too much.
How dare they?
And then you think about Andrew Judd, who might be in here today, asking about seats for Māori as of right, for goodness sake.
What?
I know.
Seat for Māori?
I know. And that seems to be too hard. And we get hit with notions of too much privilege for Māori. So if anybody think that it's all way back there and confiscation and so on, no, it is still around us now. And I want to make that point, because actually, as I talked about street signs earlier, our people have to deal with these things on a daily basis. At least the settlement allows our people to move forward. So I acknowledge those who have been responsible for bringing it to an end. Reana, koutou, he mi, tanui te mihi ki o koutou, kai ko rangatira, ka tangi ake, ki te kite a koutou tēnei rā. Ko tahi ana ki te kōrero kai au, tai hua ke nei ka hoki mai ki aku huanga o Taranaki. Tēnā koutou, haere mai, e rā, kia ora tātai.
Kia ora. Members, the question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Party vote is called for. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
Toru ngā huru mā a toru ngā huru tahi e whakaana.
Green Party.
Tekau mā whā e whakai ana.
New Zealand First.
12 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
E raua e whakai ana.
Act New Zealand.
1 in favour.
United Future.
1 in favour.
Members, the ayes are 108 and the noes are 12. The motion is agreed to.
Te Atiawa Claim Settlement Bill, third reading.
Te waiata. I call on Government